Chandra Pyromaster in the main deck.
Right, and that card kind of broke out in Jund Shells in Modern.
And when that happened, that's when Chandra went from like $9 to like $27 overnight.
That was quite the transition, yeah.
It was. It was not pleasant for those people who did not own Chandras.
Oh, yeah?
But quite pleasant for those people who hoarded them. So look,
oh my.
we're actually opening on the Thoughtseize that we were just raving about.
Turn 1 Thoughtseize out of Murfolk.
Oh man!
If Todd can follow this up with like an actual threat, like a Silvergill Adept, that'll be pretty good.
What do you take? The Dark Confidant here, you think, or is that not something? Is that not a card we care about because we're dealing so much damage?
It
as
depends
Murfolk?
on Todd Anderson's
nope.
hand.
Never mind. He just doesn't want Dark Confidant.
He just took the Bob.
Bob Maher being selected by Thoughtseizes since Lorwyn, I guess. What is that? 1998. It's a while ago.
Really? That was 98?
It was a while ago. Let's look it up.
Seems like it was yesterday.
It does, right? I feel the same way about Magic releases.
See, if I was Todd here, I might have taken the Inquisition so that my Silvergill resolved. Because the best way to fight through piles of disruption is Silvergill Adept. Tripping into Warlords and such.
Because it's
Which is what Ed takes here.
It's like having 2 cards instead of 1.
Yes, thank you, Frank.
That's a metaphor.
Again, you said like. So again, it's a simile.
All right, so a little trivia for you guys.
And again, you're just describing the thing.
Lorwyn actually came out in October of 07. So 6 years ago. You would have been like 19. I would have been like 42, because that's how old
I don't think I've changed much since I was 19.
Oh no,
basically the same person.
Yeah.
Still in the robust physical condition of my 19-year-old self.
I have more gray hair now. That's pretty much it.
So Todd kind of flooding out here. He just has a Lonely Lord of Atlantis.
Oh, Spell Pierce
and a
on a
Spell Pierce for that lightning
That Lord
bolt.
of Atlantis is surviving. He's a survivor. Now he's not. Now he's gone. He was not long for this.
So next turn, maybe Ed resolves
world.
this lightning, but it's not going to hit anything. Just the extra lands.
Ooh. Todd has 2 lands in hand.
Right.
This game could be over
Which
rather
are probably
quickly.
about to be discarded. Although Ed doesn't have any pressure either.
How do you mean? Has he got Lightning?
I thought he had lightning.
Does he have Lightning in his list?
He has a 1 of, yes.
Whoa. This is like standard.
5-mana Silvergill Adept. Oh, and he draws another
Silvergill.
Silvergill.
That's good. Silvergills for days, son. I still had all these Silvergills.
So Ed is fetching here, possibly to animate Raging Ravine, which is quite the clock.
Let me ask you something right now.
Todd Anderson said it's at 15 already, so 1 Raging Ravine hit would put him to 11.
Let me ask you something. Do you think they really have Silvergills, or is that just a figure of speech in the Murfolk world?
Bring up the card art. Let's take a look.
We're going to check it out right now.
Check out these gills. This is an important question. I'm glad we're talking about the Silvergills.
They're actually silver.
Right,
well,
yeah.
they're shimmery.
Shimmery silver.
I could see that you can use it.
Raging
just as
Ravine did indeed get in.
I haven't
Todd
actually activated
untaps,
Raging Ravine in quite some time.
His other Silvergill, paying the full 5.
Man, they are playing some fast Magic.
Very fast. Well, they know what they're doing before their turn. And they're both in the zone. They're both in the X and 1 bracket.
Yeah.
Both playing very well over the course of today. Todd Anderson has been crushing Moto with this deck.
Master of the Pearl Trident. That guy was actually my spoiler for M12, 13, whatever set that guy came out with. And I was like, well, he's not going to have many standard applications, but
I think
this
both
guy
the
is going to
Silvergills
be
have to
very
serve
useful
here
in old formats. And he was. He has been.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, both the Silvergills serve. Probably chumps with Kira. He can no longer take any more Raging Ravine beats.
Yeah, Todd being at 4 already is really ridiculous.
Which means that if I'm the Jund player here, I am going to keep activating Raging, I probably activate the other one to spread the counters around.
Yeah.
Because they're both lethal. And if Todd decides to trade 2 creatures for his Raging Ravine, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, because I still had another one.
Right.
I still had all these Raging Ravines.
Ed disagrees with me. He also overtaps for his Raging Ravine. I don't think it matters, but he tapped 5 to activate it.
Hey man, he just adds as much mana as he wants. Oh,
and
boy.
there's lethal.
And that's the end.
Winning the game out of nowhere.
Yeah, remember that time Todd had like 2 lands in hand? Wasn't that like 13 seconds ago? What actually happened
I do remember
there?
that, yes. So Todd Anderson up a game. If you blinked, you missed it. That's what I'm telling you right now.
If you blinked, you missed it. And just letting you guys know, in case you didn't already, TCGPlayer is one of the largest largest Magic marketplace on the internet. So if you guys are looking for the lowest prices for cards, whether they be Theros, Return to Ravnica, Gate,
collects all my favorite Magic sites, puts them together.
Yeah, basically, like, we have the largest number of vendors, so you're always going to get the lowest price. And on certain vendors, if you spend $25 or more, we have free Super Saver shipping, which is just free shipping on $25 or more. Look for the special Super Saver mark.
Who doesn't like free shipping?
Communists. Because it's the people's shipping. It belongs to the people, and it should be shared. It should be spread around equally. So yeah, actually, when I buy my cards, I always buy through TCG, and I don't get any sort of discount for it either because I'm buying through the vendors themselves and not from TCGPlayer.
Sure.
We don't, like, there's no way I can be like, hey, Channel Fireball, give me a discount because, I bought you through the site I work. That doesn't make any sense, so. But, I mean, like, you're going to get the lowest price because there's over 100 vendors on our site,
This is correct. And you can actually host your own cards there now.
Yeah.
They have it set up like a kind of eBay thing, only with lower fees,
that is
fewer
correct.
steps.
Lower fees, fewer steps. It's like 3 clicks, and the public can now list your cards. So, like, John Q. Public, who's listening to our commentary right now, you can go on TCGPlayer and list that Master of Waves that you have in, like, about 4 seconds, actually. It's very quick. You don't have to upload your own picture. You don't have to add your own description.
I actually listed a card in the middle of this conversation.
He was doing it right now. I was watching him do it.
I'm multitasking.
He was actually finished doing it before that, quicker than that Todd Anderson Ed Pfender match that we just watched.
Which is, as we know, was very quickly.
Blisteringly fast, if you will.
I got blisters just watching it.
I don't touch me with those. That's weird. You're gonna do it, but then you're like, wait, we're not on camera, so if I move in such a way that looks like I'm gonna do it, they won't know.
Yeah.
I would have known.
And that's what matters.
Nolan Nasser, who created the player tokens, we have author tokens now that we just released. They were illustrated by an illustrator named Nolan Nasser. He just
Pretty
tweeted.
Sweet art.
He tweeted, honored to have worked with Frank Lepore and Craig Wesco on these. Very happy to see them on the screen, which is pretty sweet. He was
awesome.
He was an awesome guy to work with. We went back and forth a lot through like Facebook messages and whatnot, and we came to a pretty sweet final product, I think.
I actually messaged him when Wesco was doing his little contest to see who would do his art, and I was like, yours look like a lot of them were very impressive that he got for the contest.
But no one's looked really
But I
good.
messaged him and I was like, man, I hope you win. This is great.
It really was
and
good.
Then he won.
Because
like,
it's
awesome.
it's very fantasy set, but like the facial expression on Craig and like on me, it's like
it's very clearly
real.
Wesco. Yeah. Which I like.
And I asked him to incorporate.
And then there's a lot of detail.
Like I have tattoos on my arm, and I asked him to incorporate those somehow. And like on my armor, on one side there's 3 stars, and on the other side is like the 2 black bands that I have.
Which are your tattoos?
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
It's really awesome.
I wouldn't have put that together.
I know, but it's like it's just a little subtle feature that he added.
So
Todd Anderson starting with a relic of Progenitus.
Well, Edit was turn 1 Deathrite Shaman.
Ed Pfender starting with a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman.
Todd Anderson playing a relic for his turn. Will probably hinder that Deathrite Shaman from doing anything relevant for a little bit. Turn 2 Silvergill Adept.
Man,
and that's really what Todd wants.
That's what every Murfolk player wants, really.
Well, it's the best way to fight through piles of disruption, which is what Jund does. So, last game, Todd played multiple Silvergill Adepts, and he was able to just swarm his opponent. Yeah.
And it's funny because a vanilla 2/1 is really not the best creature ever. But
it's not a vanilla.
That's true. I guess
that is a 4/3 with Island Walk.
Touche.
Sometimes it taps things.
Did you not see his creature type, good sir? It is no vanilla Murfolk. That should be the flavor text. There are no vanilla Murfolk. That was good. I thought that was good. I don't know why I didn't get a rise out of you with that one.
So Todd Anderson has some threads in his sideboard.
There's a Kira in response.
I bet those probably came in. 2 relics, a 3rd Kira Great Glass Spinner, and 3 Threads of Disloyalty are probably what Todd brought in for this matchup. Maybe cutting Spell Pierces.
Spell Pierce doesn't seem that good.
Yeah, because the Jund deck has so much removal that the game is probably going to be extended. And then the Spell Pierce becomes like a dead top deck at a certain point.
And the removal is often very cheap, so they can just be like, okay, I'll pay 2 for Terminate, and then he's like, okay, Spell Pierce, all right, I'll pay 2 more, big deal.
Edward's sideboard has possibly Obstinate Bailoff. I don't know if that's a good card here. It's decent.
Maybe. It's not very fast, though.
It's not very fast, but you gain a little bit of your tempo
And
back.
he only has one, so maybe
There's also
it could be fine.
Olivia Voldaren.
That's a good one.
Probably good in this matchup.
Olivia seems real good
And
in
some
this matchup.
Pyroclasms aren't like amazing because with some Lords in play, it doesn't kill everything.
But
it does kill Kira,
right.
and it does sweep away random, like you were saying, random X1s.
Yeah, and if Todd only has one Lord in play, then it's
still pretty good,
It's gonna get some value out of it. Like,
So
oh, it's like now, but no, it's just a Chandra.
the nice thing about Chandra is that it can break the Kira bubble.
Yes.
So his other removal spells
Yeah,
can
so
get
he's
in
like,
there without
deal
losing
one to
value.
Kira. Okay, counters it. All right, now I'll lightning bolt it.
Ordinarily, you would have to use 2 removal spells to get rid of Kira, unless you had an Abrupt Decay. But Ed here only has 1 Abrupt Decay in his 75. So he needs to use other ways to break the Kira bubbles.
What was the other thing that he's gonna? Yeah, and he does it right now. He lightning bolts it after the 1 damage.
That's sick.
That's real good. What was the other card? There was another card that breaks the Kira bubble. That's repeatable.
Well, we were talking about a Johnny a long time ago, but that was...
That's right, yeah. Because you can use the Ajani ability to keep the guy tapped. That would get countered, and then you're free to use whatever other removal spell
like a
you
lightning
want
bolt or what have you.
Yeah.
Ed here, of course, is not playing the White Splash, so that's not a thing for
That's
this
not
matchup.
an option.
But he does have Chandra, so
Chandra is like the solely red Ajani, though. Oh, he's going to steal that.
Threads of Disloyalty.
Man, that Deathrite Shaman ain't got no loyalty. How you going to act, Deathrite Shaman? That ain't right.
I would like to steal something that had a lot of loyalty counters with the Threads of Disloyalty.
Yes.
Do like
How ironic.
A flavor break.
Who saw this coming? Do they lose loyalty counters, you think, when that happens? Actually, only Planeswalkers can get loyalty counters, so how does that
You
even
can turn
work?
them into creatures.
Like a Gideon?
No, because you can't steal a Gideon with the Threads of Disloyalty.
That's true.
There's only one
How
you
can
can
you
do
turn
that
them
with.
into creatures? What are you saying right now?
There's ways.
Do you know anything?
Yeah, you play the 6-mana artifact that makes all permanents artifacts.
I can tell you've thought about this
And then
before.
you play March of the Machines, so then all artifacts become creatures.
Oh, dear.
And then your Tybalt is a creature that you can steal with the Threads of Disloyalty. So despite your Tybalt having 10 loyalty counters, you can take it with the Threads of Disloyalty.
Caleb Durward, ladies and gentlemen.
See, you thought I didn't have anything for you. Have you ever played EDH in your life, Frank?
All you have to do is play one game of EDH to know how that works. Amateur.
So Todd Anderson here has a Relic of Progenitus, which should be able to make this Tarmogoyf actually kind of a mediocre card.
Don't ever say that. It'll make Tarmogoyf a mediocre card.
It can, as an instant.
No
at
one has
any
ever
time,
said those words before.
Todd can make it a 0/1. So Ed has some ways of pumping it. Like after Todd Anderson cracks, he can
Under the pressure, you mean?
the relic. No, the Relic of Progenitus. Ed can crack his fetch land to
add another one.
to
To restart the process.
make sure it doesn't die to that
Yeah.
Deathrite Shaman in combat, which I think Todd
How
just realized.
embarrassing.
Something that's kind of neat is Todd has access to black mana, so he can actually activate his Deathrite, shrink Tarmogoyf that way, get in some damage.
What is that card? Somber Hoverguard? It looks like a Somber Hoverguard
No,
from the
that
art.
is a Master of Waves.
Oh, that's a good dude.
That is a very good dude. So 3 2-1s here. Thanks to the Threads of Disloyalty upping his Devotion to Blue count.
Look at that Master of Waves.
Not sure what's happening here. Maybe they're waiting for tokens.
Master of Waves is one of the most come at me bro cards in Magic with that art.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Oh, let's go. Come at me, bro.
I'm going to kill you unless you do something.
And he knows it. Like the art, he's like, yeah, bring it. And then you kill him and he's like, all right, you got it. I'll be back. And then he comes
End
back.
of turn cracks. I'm not sure if I like the end of turn crack. I suppose if you know that you're gonna need
You're
the
gonna
mana
need it,
on your turn, then it makes sense. But otherwise, he's just making the relic way more
Better.
brutal.
Right. Let's see though. Who knows what Ed Fender's capable of, man? He's a machine.
I like that Master also has protection from Chandra.
Yeah.
It has actually
Otherwise,
very
it would
few
actually
ways,
be terrible right now.
Very few ways of dealing with it. Pyroclasm can get rid of all the tokens, but it can't actually answer the Master itself. Yeah, Terminate doesn't kill it. Maelstrom Pulse does.
At what point in this matchup do you start using Chandra's second ability?
Okay, Chandra killed off a random. Well, he did use it earlier. He
Did
got
he?
the. That's how he played the Tarmogoyf.
Okay, I didn't see that. I saw him use it against the Kira, and then I saw him use it against an elemental token right now. So
Right, which is pretty good. Like if he gets to do it one
Yeah,
more
that's
time,
fine.
then the Master's way less backbreaking.
yeah, it's just a 2-1 right now. Anyway,
Yeah, having seen Ed's turn here, I agree with my past self that I do not like cracking that fetch land.
yeah,
Because
he
of
didn't
the
use
relic.
It. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you could have just kept a land. It's basically a +1/+1. You know, like
Spreading seas on the mainland. That's some value.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Your treetop village is now an island. Enjoy.
You got island on my treetop village. That's from the old. You know what I'm doing right now.
Although I think if you animate the treetop in response, I think it stays a creature.
Really?
I might be wrong about that.
I
But
think
I
you
know
just-
if you play a Blood Moon when you have a Dryad Arbor in play, you have a mountain 1/1. Like it's still a creature.
I was actually talking to our head judge John, and he said he had received more questions in the previous round than he had in all the rounds of standard combined because there's so many more interactions in modern.
I actually see him now.
So yeah, Caleb's just actually getting confirmation on a question right now, and it looks like Todd's actually.
I'm good. Okay. Yeah, it looks like had he responded by animating the treetop village, it would have stayed a 3/3 until end of turn.
Oh, until end of his
So
turn.
he could have had another blocker in this attack step
right
though,
now, yeah,
which
right
is
at
very
this moment.
relevant.
Yeah, especially when he has the mana to use.
Right, yeah, the mana's not doing anything else anyway.
Right, and now
He
now
probably
he's-
just didn't know the interaction.
Yeah,
but now
well,
you
that's-
folks that are watching do.
It's very possible, especially because Spreading Seas before the Murfolk deck really actually did anything. It wasn't that like Spreading Seas hasn't been played that often, so it's very possible that he just doesn't like. And that's a very layer specific question. Like
That's
it has
true.
to do with layers in the game.
So like in 2006, that might have interacted very differently.
Correct.
Layers got a reworking for M10, I think it was.
And probably maybe even no, I don't know. We'll go with M10.
Deathrite Shaman doing work. That's a Liliana. That's kind of good. I guess it just edict. Well, no,
Look at-
because the Chandra can tick up to kill the Curse Catcher, and then he can edict him.
yeah, that seems
Oh, but
alright.
it looks like he started with the edict. I think that's a 1 counter on Liliana.
Interesting.
That's some interesting sequencing.
I can't really see the numbers on these
Oh,
dice.
I
though.
think he used the 0 ability
To get the
of
Liliana.
Chandra to get the. That makes sense.
Okay, let's do that then. Are you sure that's not a somber hover guard? Because that's what it
I'm
looks
pretty
like every
sure that
time
is
I
not a
see it.
somber hover card.
I don't know. We're gonna have to get a judge
That'd
rolling
be
on
interesting Murfolk.
that. Yeah, and it made tokens.
Another Spreading Seas.
Not
Not the worst, just cantripping. Giving Ed another random island that he can't use
Still a
too
lot of
effectively.
mutavaults.
All right. Lots of things happening.
Apparently,
You know those planeswalkers? You don't have them anymore.
all your Jund super friends have gone away to the Legion of
So
Doom.
one thing that Todd Anderson's deck has, the folk deck has, is a 2-for-1 creature in Silvergill Adept, and Jund used to have like Bloodbraid Elf to crawl
Yeah.
back into games like this, which it no longer has.
now Jund just has to play fair and play one card at a time. Oh, a Maelstrom Pulse.
That's a
though.
Maelstrom Pulse.
What do you hit there? Threads or do you hit? Oh, you hit the Spreading Seas. That's pretty good.
It's kind of good.
I mean, it gets back your treetop village.
I don't know how relevant that is at this point. Both the Mutavaults that are tagging
yeah.
here are 3/3s.
Oh, and it's dead.
And he's got a Dismember.
1, 2, 3, 4,
yeah,
5,
this game is
6,
over.
7, 8, 9. So he goes to 2. Ed goes to 2. And theoretically, Todd can untap and just kill him. He's dead on board without any blocks.
If you had, yeah.
You don't have to enter the. Nope, that's
There's
not going to do it.
nothing that works here. And there's the handshake.
And
So
Todd
two
Anderson,
very quick games.
Todd Anderson takes it. Goes to 7-1.
Plenty of sideboard games, plenty of interaction. Didn't matter.
Todd Anderson's like, there is money to win, good sir, and I'm going to take it from you.
And again, I would like to point out how good Silvergill Adept is.
That's a
Todd,
good dude.
Todd got to play at both games, helped him fight through all that
Yeah.
disruption.
I agree. And it kind of it keeps you
And now we're switching to the other match here.
This is quick.
We have deck lists. James Bishop against David McDarby. David McDarby is on the right playing Twin. James Bishop is on the left playing Pod. So a classic modern matchup here. And from the stacks of cards in the graveyards, we can see that there's been a lot of interaction in this game already.
A lot of outer action, I bet, as well. Inter and outer action. All right, well,
C-.
I'm trying, man. It's getting late. It's getting late.
That's true. There's only one more match of Modern after this.
I like it.
And then we will see you guys again tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern Central Time.
9 Eastern Central?
Eastern Time.
Eastern Standard Time, I think
yeah, Standard is what I meant to say.
Eastern Central Mountain Time.
So this is an upkeep. Pester might tap your Birthing Pod. A very important interaction in the matchup because Birthing Pod can only be activated as a sorcery. So by doing this, David McDarby basically buys a turn.
Yeah, it's like he time walks the. Oh, now it's dead. But that's actually the same interaction that Whip of Erebos is. And some people are like, how come you didn't activate your Whip on his turn to block?
Right,
like,
right.
It doesn't work like that.
Not a thing.
That is not how that card interacts.
Darby deciding if he wants to respond to this Path to Exile. Maybe some instant speech shenanigans. I see there's a Snapcaster Mage on the on the right, but I don't know what the other two cards in his hand are. Maybe he's deciding which land to search for.
Todd Anderson just walked by and did the fish face. Clearly thrilled that he won his match. Yeah, and playing Murfolk, no less, so even funnier.
Right, right. The fish face is fitting.
Being Murfolk. He's got some silver gills on today.
So it looks like the names here are incorrect. We have David. It shows David McDarby on the left, but he's actually on the right, playing Blue-Red Twin.
Oh man, it's like Bizarro World.
Right, everything's switched around.
It's all backwards.
But James Bishop is definitely on the left, playing Pod.
Oh gosh. Oh, there's a Voice of Resurgence.
So
Voice of Resurgence is actually
hopefully that'll get switched.
Another card that just makes Pod so much better.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna sack this guy. I'm going to get a creature out of it, and then I'm going to get another creature out of it.
Now if David McDarby wants to do the same trick next turn of the upkeep Pod activation, James Bishop will be getting value out of that in the form of tokens. Darby has an end-of-turn fetch, getting a green source. If this is post-board, that could imply Vines of the Vastwood. Oh no, I don't see a Vines in Darby's deck. Which means the green source is just for Ancient Grudge flashbacks.
Yeah.
And Fire Spout.
In case you want to kick it.
There's no need to put green into Fire Spout in this game, though.
Yeah, no, not at all. There are no flyers here.
It might just be to bluff Vines of the Vastwood.
Or to bluff kicking Fire Spout.
Kicking Fire Spout?
What do you call it? Entwining? What is that word? Was there a mechanic?
Not with Fire Spout. Fire Spout
like
just cares about if you played red or green, yeah.
Kicking it? Whatever, man. Don't make fun of my terminology.
On Moto, Fire Spout's an interesting card to cast because since it's hybrid, it asks you what type of mana you want to use. But then you're like, I want to do both. I need to kill all the things. Why are you asking me this?
Yeah, and then you're like, if I just select one, we'll do it wrong? I don't know.
So we actually see a Fire Spout here. David McDarby did, in fact, have that card. Whoa! This is huge. The Murderous Redcap must have already had a Persist counter on it because it just went to the graveyard.
What?
I thought the Murderous Redcap should have persisted, I believe. Unless there was a counter on it, but I didn't see a counter. I think he just missed the trigger.
That seems bad.
I could be wrong though. It might have already had a counter.
Are you sure you're not just making things up right now?
This is a draw step Vendilion Click. Probably gonna take this Ranger Evios.
Not relevant now, but Marco said in the Todd Anderson match that he used Chandra to shoot a token, and then he played Liliana.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
We blinked.
Yeah, that's fair.
We blinked and we missed it.
We blinked and we missed that. Thank you for the correction.
Hey man, I got your back.
I was talking about the guy that tweeted us
Marco's
and
got
actually had the
correct information.
Yes. Thank you, Marco.
He's got your back. He's good.
He does.
Birthing Pod is always scary because it always feels like whatever creature you draw, is actually 6 different creatures.
It looks like they're talking about the murderous red cap right now.
How come
Like, if
David
it's-
McDarby isn't dressed as Jace today?
He probably didn't feel like Jace.
It's fair.
He does it sometimes when he's feeling festive.
Should be all the time.
I think Darby has a Threads of Disloyalty in his hand.
What do you take? You can't just take a Voice of Resurgence token, right? Like that's
Huh? What are you
Wait.
talking about?
Threads of Disloyalty. Like, would you even play it right now, or?
Oh, it's an option. Like you take a relevant card in the Birthing Pod chain.
But it seems like he can just actually play the card and just cast it, right? Like, does he even have the opportunity to
I'm not. I would actually be very curious as to what conversation is happening here. Because
between them,
Bishop
you mean?
like tapped his murderous red cap, and like who knows what's going on.
What is that? A Viscera Seer?
Yep, and he's potting it away.
Makes sense.
That's also good news for the Threads that's in Darby's hand, if that is.
Because he's
if that is the
he's
card.
gonna have a 2-drop in play,
And he's losing his sack outlet
Yeah.
to blank the Threads.
and he's losing his 2-drop as well.
Possibly.
Goodbye, 2-drop. I'm pretty positive because McDarby's not gonna have that many more
Another voice.
opportunities to do it. You
Yep.
know?
Yeah, Threadsing a Voice of Resurgence sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Because it lets Darby keep on doing instant speed things.
and it lets James not do those things. Not like James's deck has a lot of instant speed cards. Probably 1 or 2.
And Darby
if
just
any.
takes the damage. James here at 10. David McDarby going down to 11.
Yeah. After
So
the,
it's kind of a tight race.
after
The
the-
evasion on Vendilion Click might end up swinging this game.
Oh man, every Vendilion clicks to me has looked like a Deceiver Exarch. I'm always like, oh, is that a Deceiver Exarch? No, it's a Vendilion click again.
The difference is there's 2 blue in the mana cost.
That
and
is.
it's a 3/1.
The art is just very dark though.
That's fair. That's fair. Some people use art recognition more than others.
I do. I think I definitely do, and that's why it's actually very hard for me to play with proxies as well.
Yeah, I
Because
use a lot of
I'm
proxies.
very visual.
I also when I first started playing competitive Magic, I used a lot of Magic Workstation. So
Yeah, that's rough too. I mean, for
and
me, it
you,
would be
you
anyway.
can add the images to Workstation if you really want to, but I never did because I was lazy.
That seems fair. I feel like the people who don't use the art are more number inclined
I could see that.
because then it becomes just a game of numbers. You're like, oh, this guy's a 2-2, this guy's a 2-3, this guy
The
does
flavor
this.
might matter less to those people.
Maybe.
I still enjoy the flavor. That's how I started playing Magic.
Yeah, makes sense. I think a lot of us did. We're like, oh, cool, dragons. Oh,
Grim
sweet.
Lavamancer, an excellent follow-up card. Yeah, it helps the Vendilion Click race, and it also gives him a way of disrupting the Birthing Pod combo that just gets to sit and play and gain value.
Yeah, Dave is looking like he's in a really good position here.
Lavamancer, really underrated card
Oh,
in
yeah.
Legacy and Modern.
That guy's just chalk on a stick, man.
The Jun lists we've seen in the Modern format are not playing it, and I think they should be. It's
Chalk on a
very good
stick,
against Affinity.
And you're to play. That's
And Murfolk as well.
I was doing Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I got the reference.
Okay.
It is
And
better than the other
I
one.
think James is like, nope, that's the end. Basically, Click would drop him to 4.
David McDarby, 2-0.
That's the end of that.
I play League of Legends with Darby.